Hi, everyone. I hope your week's off to a great start. I look forward to being able to spend this time with you, so hop on and let's go. We're going to continue our reading of our story, Moosling the Hero, and we're going to focus around character traits, like internal, the ones on the inside, like your heart, kind, gentle, selfless, and external, meaning like on the outside, like the little girl there. She has blonde hair, blue eyes, and fair skin. Now let's look at the identifying character traits. Keep these words in mind as we read our story today, that you're going to want to focus around the character traits that describe Moosling. Yesterday, you were asked to describe words that tell about you. Hopefully you did that and share that. If you want to, send me an email and tell me the words that you chose. I'd like to hear that. Let's now begin our reading. Now, before we begin the reading of our story, we need to think about what we've read so far. That's really important strategy, boys and girls, to help your comprehension, because if you don't take a moment to get back into your book, then you may forget what the story was all about from the beginning. So, I remember that Moosling jumped into water, into the river, and to save some baby birds. And he even swam under the water to make sure they were safe on top of the water. And everyone thought he was just a hero. And then they had to try to get the baby birds off of them, and they wouldn't. The nest was stuck. So I wonder what's going to happen with those baby birds. Let's now read on to find out. It said, so Moosling began to look after the baby birds. He had to be very careful. He didn't run or jump. The babies could fall out of their nest. He didn't swim. The babies could float away. He was very careful to keep the little baby birds out of the cold rain and the hot sun. Wow. Can you see a word that's actually on both pages that describe moosling? I do. Let's read on. Moosling stayed very still and quiet when the baby birds were napping. And when he got sleepy, he had to sleep standing up. Being a hero is hard work, he whispered to Mouse. I can see that, Mouse whispered back. I saw another word to describe moosling. Let's go on. Eyes on the text. Read with me. Then, at last, one morning, a baby bird hopped up on the side of the nest. She flapped and flapped, and then she flew up into a tree. Good girl, said her mother. Another bird flapped and flew. Good boy, said his mother. Then the last little bird flapped and flew away. Good bird, cried Moosling. Here's our character web, boys and girls, and you see that we are looking at the character Moosling. Moosling actually is the main character. This kind of looks like a web, doesn't it? That's because it is a character web. The pieces of the web are going to be the traits, how we would describe moosling. So yesterday, we identified that moosling was very helpful. It even said it in the text, didn't it? And that he was courageous. He just flew right into that water and didn't think anything about him. And then he even swam underneath, didn't he? So that none of the baby birds would get hurt. But he was worried because he thought, oh my goodness, what if these baby birds aren't going to be okay when they come out? So now let's look at our new character traits based upon what we read today. He was careful. In fact, boys and girls, on page 8 and page 9, it has the word careful. Sometimes the text is right there telling you. It said he had to be very careful because he did not want to run or jump because the babies could fall out of their nest. He didn't swim because the babies could float away. So he was very careful. Then we decided, yes, he was also very unselfish. He didn't think about himself at all. He wanted to make sure those baby birds were safe, so he would even sleep standing up, right? And he even would do anything just to make sure they're safe. So now let's look at the last character word. He was heroic, wasn't he? And in fact, it even said that being a hero is hard work. So when someone is a hero, that's telling about that person, but the way that we could describe it would be heroic. Can you see hero and heroic? So you would say Moosling was heroic because he did all that just to save the birds. That's what he cared most about. Let's go on. So yesterday I had you choose Moosling as the character name, and we talked about the 3 character traits that described Moosling. He was helpful. He was courageous, full of courage. And he was worried about the baby birds. Now, I asked for you to take one of those traits and then write the evidence. Now, someone tells you, well, prove it to me. Well, that's like this. Okay, you chose courageous. Prove it to me. How was Moosling courageous? Using the text. The text is the sentences in the story. So, for an example, I'll do one. I chose yesterday courageous. Wow. Moosling was definitely courageous. And there's lots of different evidence. But the evidence that I put was from the text. Moosling jumped into the water to save the baby birds. Was that courageous? Absolutely. He even swam underwater so the baby birds could be safe above the water. Was that courageous? Yes, it was very much a courageous act. Now let's look at those 3 new character traits that we read about today. He was very careful, wasn't he? He was unselfish. He didn't even think about himself, did he? And he was heroic. Now, what I want you to do today is go back in the text, look at this video, find some evidence of Moosling being courageous, unselfish, or heroic, and then prove it. Write the evidence, and then share it with an adult. As always, boys and girls, I'm right here, ready and willing to talk to you. Just send me a letter or an email, and I'll be sure to get back to you. Have a great day.